Hi, welcome to the Collection Conundrum. I'm Shane, and hi. So, this is the only horological game show where it's okay to judge someone based on what they're wearing because they're actually asking us to do it. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the show, I'm going to give you a quick rundown before we really get going. Now, the basic way the game works is that there are three sides and it's divided into three phases. The three sides are us, the hosts, and we're all playing against each other. Works is that there are three sides. There's also you, the audience, and you're playing against all of us as a whole. And then there's a guest that we invite on. Now, before the show even starts, the guest picks 5 watches that they own to form a collection based around a particular theme. They then tell us that theme, as well as a general price range that their collection is valued at. Now, after that, us, the hosts, spend an unhealthy amount of time looking through their social media to try to guess some of the watches that are included in this collection. Now, that leads us to phase 1, which before that, we'll get to know the guest a little bit. But phase 1 is where we all share our guesses, and the guest goes over their entire collection. And then, a point for every correct guess. After that, that leads to the second phase, which is the question phase, where we're going to ask the guests specific questions about their collection, and we're going to make guesses on what their answer is going to be before they actually answer it. And then that leads us to phase 3, which is the conundrum or the trade-off. Now, in this phase, all of us are going to propose a specific watch, hypothetically, that we would trade them for their entire 5-watch collection. And the trick with this is that it can't be worth more than their entire collection. So that's basically how the game works. Now, as a side note, this is episode 3, and the other 2 episodes are over on Dave's channel, Just the Watch. And one of the reasons we're changing it over here is that Dave is acting as the guest. For these first 3 episodes, we're trying to kind of just iron out the bugs, and there's 3 of us hosts. There's me, Alton from Half Past Blog, and as I said, Dave. And for each of these first 3 episodes, we've each taken a turn at being the guest. And for the next episode, hopefully we'll actually have a real guest. So one thing you could do is down in the comments before you leave is, suggest somebody that we could have on. Now, for now, I'll turn this over to Alton to kind of get things going.
Hey, everybody. I'm so glad that you could join us once again for this. And thanks, Shane, for that intro. Today on the channel is a great guy, a good friend of mine, and someone who knows a whole lot about affordable watches. And he's going to be bringing some of those to our attention today. I would like to introduce my man, Dave.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. I consider myself a real guest though, so I'm taking a little bit of offense there. But hey, it's good to be here. No, I'm just kidding.
Glad to have you, buddy. All right, Dave, can I ask you a question?
Sure, go for it.
How long have you been running this channel of yours? Because I can't quite recall. I've watched most of your back catalog, but
yeah, I think,
how long has it been?
I think I just hit 3 years. Remember, if I'm counting right? Yeah, I think it was.
I think I'm about the same with you. Right
yeah,
there.
I think my first upload was January 2018.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Somewhere around
there. I know that your fans probably know, but some of Shane's fans and both of my fans might be watching tonight. So I have a question for you. Where do you live and what do you do?
I live in Japan. I live in a very small town on the coast. It's a very beautiful area. Name of the city is Miyako, and I'm a missionary over here. So I'm working with a Japanese Baptist church, and we're trying to start a new church here in the city.
Very cool.
So where'd you originally from? Where'd you grow up? And what did you kind of want to be when you grew up? Was it a missionary?
Yeah, no, it was definitely not a missionary. That was, the whole going into ministry thing. So my dad was a pastor. So I grew up in a pastor's family, and I didn't ever want to do what he was doing. So that was off the table. But no, I wanted to be an astronaut. Probably most other kids. Just the whole, I thought it'd be so cool to go up and float around in space. Seemed like the coolest thing ever. Never quite got there. But I grew up in Southern California, Orange County. So that's where my family is. A lot of my friends and stuff back home. Get back there every couple of years. And I was actually in California when I started the channel. So with the missionary schedule, I we live most of the time in Japan, but then we have to go back to America for extended periods of time. So we were back for about a year then when I started the channel, and so kind of little ways into the channel we came back to Japan. So I've been based.
How
back
long
here
have
since
you
then.
been in Japan, like overall as a missionary?
Yeah,
Time
we
period?
moved over here, 2013? Yeah, so about 8 years now.
Oh wow.
Hopefully.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife is actually Japanese, so she was born and raised over here. Yeah, we got married, lived in California for a few years, then moved back to Japan.
Oh, very good. What if you had your choice, California or Japan? Two very different places.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I really enjoy both. Yeah, I could go either one as far as living. I mean, California is just the weather is perfect and beautiful, really easy place to live. Just really, yeah, love California. Great Mexican food. I really miss the Mexican food. No Mexican food over here. But yeah, where we are in Japan is just absolutely gorgeous. They have 4 seasons here. It's amazing. Like you get cherry blossoms, you get fall colors, you get snow, you get beautiful summers. So for me, I come over here, I feel like California is kind of boring now because it's just the same all year round. I mean, it's like perfect weather all year round, but it never changes.
Oh, that would be
So yeah,
terrible.
yeah, I know. It's
Well, as you're
tough to
stuck
pick
in
between them.
traffic, you kind of tend to notice that nowadays.
Yeah. But no, yeah, I really enjoy both. I would be hard pressed to pick. I really don't feel that homesick being over here, other than not having the Mexican food. That's probably the thing I miss the most.
Really? Okay.
That's why I moved to
Mexican-
Texas, so I get that.
Yeah, the Mexican food we
Little
have is
different,
Taco Bell, so I don't know if that counts.
No.
You know, I would even kill for a Taco Bell right at this point.
But we do have poutine, which is great stuff. So this is a watch game show, which I think is the very first watch game show that I know of. And so how did you get into watches?
How did I get into watches? So I think I always liked watches, like ever since I was a kid, but didn't always own one. You know, it's the kind of thing. Whenever I got one, I loved it and had fun with it, and then I'd break it and then wish I had a watch again. But I kind of got into it seriously after I moved to Japan. I got a smartwatch. I got a Pebble smartwatch, you know, one of the first smartwatches that came out. And really, really loved it. I was wearing it all the time. And this was just so cool to have the time on my wrist and so much easier than checking my phone and stuff. But it didn't look good at all when I had to dress up. So it just didn't fit. So I thought, oh, maybe I should get kind of a watch that looks nice. So I went online. I did a ton of research and read around, and I picked up an MVMT. And that's how I got sucked into watches. Yeah.
Well, that's how you got into watches. What made you get into YouTube? What made you decide to, I'm going to make a video on something?
Yeah. So I got into YouTube primarily because my younger brother is on YouTube. So he's been doing a board game channel for longer than I have. I think he'd been doing his channel for a year or two. And I kind of asked him about it, and he was telling me about like, oh, he gets all these free board games and stuff for reviewing board games. I was like, wow, I don't have any money, but if I ever got free watches, that'd be amazing. So I was interested in video production and photography and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, well, that'd be cool to try and start a channel. And kind of like the whole idea of the channel was, I don't really know anything about watches. I'm just starting collecting. So let's kind of make that the theme where I'm sort of experiencing and learning and figuring all this out and just kind of sharing what I'm learning as I go. So that's always been the angle. It's been more of kind of a beginner focused, affordable focused channel. And that's kind of, how I got sucked into it.
I love your channel because it has a clear identity. People know exactly what you're providing and they tune into your channel.
Yeah. Try and keep it focused. Get distracted every now and then. But.
Yeah, like mine. Mine's just random. Whatever comes my way, I'm going to review it. I'm going to review my kid's little fire truck watch next.
Yeah, there you go.
Not credit off of it because it doesn't have sapphire crystal.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, listen, so as you know, I'm new to this. I just turned 1 year in my channel. I'm trying to figure it out. But I feel like you've really figured out how to do this YouTube thing and do it really well. So did you have like an aha moment when you said, okay, I think I have a handle on how to do this?
No. No, I did. I still don't like. I think I kind of am pretty critical of my videos. Like I always notice the mistakes and
Same.
things, and that's maybe the good part is because I can fix that. So I'm always trying to fix things and change things around. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I kind of every once in a while I figure out a new angle or a new technique or something. I'm like, oh, this looks really good. This is great. I'm going to keep doing this part. But yeah, at the same time, there's always things where I'm like, well, this is not quite up to par of what some of the more professional stuff is doing. But yeah, it's like I'm doing this as a hobby, so I don't have a ton of time. I mean, it takes a lot of time, but I don't have enough time to do it perfectly. And I would kind of like to be able to do it perfectly, but I figure, well, I'll do the best I can with the time that I have. And yeah, so that's what I keep putting out.
Well, I have to say, you've inspired me, and the same with Shane. Both you guys put out amazing content. So for someone like me, it's really great to watch. So thanks for doing what you do, guys. I think I can speak for everyone in the comments that we appreciate your videos and the hard work that goes into it.
Yeah.
So, Dave, I know, compliments are hard to take, aren't they? You have a specific theme for us today, a specific price bracket. And so can you let us know what your theme is as you were collecting your 5 watches for tonight? Or this morning in your case.
Sure. So I wanted to do an affordable collection. That's kind of the theme of my channel. And I thought that would be interesting to kind of constrain myself down to putting together a collection in that category. So I think when we set up the budgets, we said affordable was like between $500 and $1,500. So my budget's in there. So $1,500 for a 5-watch collection, at least 500. So between 5 and 1,500. And what I really wanted to do was have a collection that had me covered for any situation, which again is also kind of the theme of the channel. That's what the name of the channel means, just the watch. It's like just the watch for any occasion. So whatever happens, I've got a watch that I can wear and it'll, get me through.
Okay. All right. Very good. And I'm really interested to see what you did bring, because you have a lot of watches and a lot of history with them. And I was scouring through your social media stuff trying to pick out the 3 watches. I think I did terribly, but we'll find out.
We'll see.
It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
Especially when you're looking at focusing on the budget end. It's like, well, that could be pretty much anything. So.
Yeah. And I think I got some curveballs in here, so we'll see how it goes.
Great. So for those of you, I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's following along at home. People are very active in the comments, and I'm reading along and really enjoying what you have to say. A lot of people from Ontario, Canada here tonight, so shout out to all of you. Get your notepad and get your paper, because I want you to play along with us tonight. You're part of this as well. Keep score and see if you can beat me and Shane in tonight's game. So leave your comments down below with your guesses, grab your notepad, and we're going to keep track of everything that is asked tonight. All right, Shane, you've looked through Dave's media. I think you're probably pretty well aware of what his collection is like, because you guys have also been friends for a while. What are your 3 guesses for tonight's theme?
All right, let me go over. All right, so first guess is since you need a dress watch if you're talking about a watch for every occasion, and this is the SNX S79, which I think this is actually probably maybe your biggest video that you ever put out. Very affordable and looks great. So that's my first pick. Let's see. Hold on, technical difficulty. All right, there you go. Second pick, Casio Oak. Very durable, not too expensive, and could be very useful. And lastly, the pick is the Aragon Dive Master 42. If you're talking about, this is a recent one, and the orange one is yours, and the blue is mine. Well, actually, the orange one's the stock pick, but I got a better picture of mine, so I threw that in there anyways. But if you're talking about affordable dive watches, this was probably one of the best ones I think we've both seen for the amount that it charges. So I think, hey, everybody needs a dive watch.
All right. Very good. Well, I was going to pick that Casio, but I changed my mind at the last minute.
All right. Let's see. And then for yours, let me pull that up.
Now Shane's learning StreamYard as we go.
Yeah.
So we'll give him a little bit of grace. Hello? We'll have to give Shane a little bit of grace because it's a little tricky to start.
Ooh.
All right. I love this watch. It's one of my favorites. It's probably not on your list. Known as the Explorient. Really hoping it's one of the few that you brought. But it's a great field watch, and I thought if you're going to have kind of a watch for everything, that would be a perfect one to bring in the field. So I was thinking that affordable and dressy Orient is what you think of when you think of affordable and dressy watches. So I forget what this one is called. Dave, what's this one called again?
It doesn't have a name. It's got a long model number that I can't remember off the top of my head. That one's a JDM release, and it's an older model. But yeah, that's a really cool one.
Yeah, so I threw it in there. Again, probably not one you brought. And then I thought a dive watch, rugged, dependable, Seiko dive watch. You can do just about anything in one of these bad boys.
Good choices.
Except dress up in a tux. You probably would want to avoid that one.
Is that the Samurai?
Yeah, that's Samurai there.
And those are my 3 guesses.
All right. There's some good picks, guys.
How about you guys in the comments? What 3 watches?
Yeah, I saw some good guesses in the comments too. Mm-hmm. Couple of them in there. Yeah, Richard Legrand is another good choice. Yeah, another vote for the Orient Star. Yeah, I will say, like, watching your guys' guesses, I mean, you got some right, you got some wrong. I'm not going to spoil anything. But basically, everything that you picked is at least something that I seriously considered. So I was, kind of tracking along the same lines as you guys.
Okay.
A little hint there.
Yes. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Good luck, Nick. I think you're going to win this one. Yeah, Orient Bambino. I had one of those. Yeah, I've been interested in the new, checking out the new Bambino. There's a couple of them floating around Japanese Amazon I've almost picked up here and there.
Supposedly there's like a woman's version that's a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I think I've seen that too.
Trying to find that. 'Cause I know some people always say it's a little bit big, so that'd be a great one to look at.
I would love it if they made a sub-seconds with a sapphire crystal.
Yeah, any Bambino with a sapphire crystal would be...
I would buy that in a heartbeat. It has that old vintage Omega vibe, but I would bash that up within the first 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I did have a Bambino for a while, and I loved it. But yeah, I was like that high-domed mineral crystal. I was like terrified every time I wore it. Like, I gotta...
Mine's held up decently, but yeah.
I gave one to my father-in-law, and he was painting in it and doing construction and stuff. It looks terrible now. Why are you painting in a Bambino, man? Come on. So I bought him a sports watch.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right. What's next, Shane?
Let's go for the reveal then.
All right.
Okay, you guys ready? See how you're doing. Okay, so I'm up.
Yeah,
all right, first one that I got. Let's see if we get this coming. It's gonna work. There we go. Okay, so for Shane, I think. So, yeah, if you're gonna have a do anything collection, a watch for everything, I think G-Shock is. Arguably this could be the only watch you need. Maybe like this and a dress watch, and you're good for everything, right? That would set you for everything. And I have 3 kids, and every time, sometimes I go hiking or swimming or stuff. Having a watch that can handle all of that is perfect. So yeah, first pick Casio.
Yeah, that's a great photo, by the way, too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Yeah, it's from the review, one of the stills from that. Got that. So that's my first pick. Number 2, Orient Star Outdoor. The Explorient.
One for me.
And for Alden. You guys are doing good so far. Yeah, I really love this watch. I think this would be like probably my daily wear if this were my 5 watch collection. Yeah, it's got a little bit of dressiness to it. I think you could get away with wearing it in a little bit dressier situation, but it's got 100 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal, screw down crown, great loom. I really love like aviation watches. Aviation watches and field watches are probably my 2 favorite genres, and so this has kind of got a little bit of influences of both. So I just love the style of it. So yeah, definitely put that one in. And that was my stretch. Like it was hard to fit this one into the collection because this one's a little bit pricier, especially closer to its retail price. So this is kind of a curveball. So this is a new one that I really reviewed recently. It's from Merkur. This is their Aviator themed watch. And I guess I was just learning about this. Apparently it's another one of their collaborations. There was, I think, another Italian group that wanted to do kind of a Zen homage or Zen style watch, and they worked with Merkur to do it. And so Merkur produced a version specific for them that has kind of their little Italian logo on the dial. And then Merkur also created a Merkur version that is a little bit, has their branding on it. So you can get either one. But yeah, great watch for the price. GMT is my favorite complication. It's hard to get an automatic GMT into an affordable collection, but this being a Chinese micro brand, really affordable watch for this feature set that they give you. I won't say the price because that'll come in later, but you get an automatic GMT movement, sapphire crystal, 200 meters of water resistance, excellent loom, really cool look. So great watch to fit in there. And that would get my GMT complication fix out of that. And here's the Orient that I did pick. I went with the Orient Maestro. That one that you picked, Alton, I actually shipped off to Aviv over at My Affordable Watch Collection.
Right.
I traded him that one for a Timex Q Timex, the dive style one.
Oh, I should have known that. I saw that.
Yeah, and then I think he traded it off for an Invicta. So he's doing that watch chain thing where he's trading it around. So now I think, where was it? I just saw on Instagram the next guy who got it. I forget who it was. Sorry if you're watching. But this is a really cool dress watch. It does. I just wish it had a mineral crystal, but I wish it had a sapphire crystal. It has a mineral crystal, but it's roughly the same cost as a Bambino, maybe slightly more. But you're getting 100 meters of water resistance. This one, it's a gold tone version, which I haven't seen in America, but in Japan, it's pretty readily available. So it looks a little bit dressier. Some of the Maestros are more sporty looking with, like a blue or white and blue color scheme with a metal band. This one with the gold and kind of an ivory dial, black leather strap. This would definitely be something I would use as a dress watch. But yeah, the only thing I don't like about it is, again, the mineral crystal, and then it's a little bit thick. I think it's like close to 12 millimeters, so a little bit thicker than I prefer for a dress watch, but not bad. How many is that? I'm going to go too far here. Okay. And then I think this is my last one. Yeah. Anyways, Bulova Lunar Pilot. One of my favorite watches, definitely would be the chronograph that I would pick for the collection. This one has a lot of kind of really cool heritage. If you haven't heard the story behind it, basically, the astronaut, I think it was David Cook, if I remember correctly, was issued a Omega Speedmaster. He took it up for the mission. The Speedmaster broke, the crystal popped off, but Bulova had, been trying to make this watch as a replacement for the NASA missions. NASA didn't accept it, so they gave him one of their prototypes and said he could keep it as his personal watch. He took it as his personal watch on the mission. And since his Omega broke, he subbed this one in. He actually wore it on the moon, during the mission. So this has some of that lunar heritage, but it costs like a fraction of the cost of the actual Speedmaster. So really love this watch. Just great all around watch, really affordable. And I think that wraps up all 5 of them. Make sure I'm not, I don't want to skip ahead. Yeah. Okay. So there's all 5 of them together. On some different straps, since I have them strapped. And I took this shot fairly quickly this morning, as you can see, using the duct tape to get the G-Shock to behave. But there's my 5 watches that I picked.
I love that. So if I'm keeping count, Shane and I each got 1 point.
And the audience gets 2 if I was looking at what they were doing.
Catch 2 of those. All right.
Yeah.
All right, very good. So, at this point now, we are going to ask 5 questions about Dave's collection. 1 point for each question before we get to the collection evaluation portion. So the first question is, and then Shane and I need to write down our answers, so Dave needs to give us a second to write this down. The first question is, which of the 5 is your favorite? Which of these 5 is your favorite? Folks, write your comments. Out of these 5, which one is Dave's favorite?
Okay. Yeah, I think all of these are great watches. I definitely have one that is a favorite above the others. And see if the audience has any good guesses on what you guys think that might be. But I will say, yeah, that these are all watches that I wear. I have good use out of.
I think that they're on to you on this one, Dave. I see a lot of Explorient in there.
Got a lot of, that's interesting. That's a good guess you guys have.
Yeah.
Not to give anything away. Okay.
So Shane, what did you say?
The Orient Star Explorer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually own one. So.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, you guys got
1 point for everybody.
Yeah, 1 point for everybody. No, definitely, yeah, my favorite. I mean, it's close with the Bull of a Lunar Pilot. Like the Lunar Pilot is up there. Again, I wanted to be an astronaut as a kid, so I think when I first started getting into watch collecting, like the Speedmaster was my grail. It was like just the moon, the idea that it's a moon watch, that it was worn on all the NASA missions, really appealed to me. So I always wanted one. Never going to be able to afford one. But yeah, I think the Bulova is a great affordable alternative to that. But no, I definitely I wear the Explorient more. Just really cool watch.
I almost put the Bulova in my 3 choices. I'm kicking myself now. Should have known better.
Next, what would you say the MSRP of your entire collection is? So, and we're going to do Prices Right rule, so you can't go over, but you got to be under.
Yeah.
And let me pull it back up for a second. Nope. There we go.
Yeah. So I'm trying to go, roughly real world pricing, like what you can readily get these for, is what I was shooting for. But again, it definitely, I think, fits into the affordable category. I like kind of, mixing and matching where, you have to make some sacrifices to go with some cheaper pieces in order to get some pieces that you really like in there. So like, again, I really love the Orient Star Outdoor. I wanted to get that one in there, but that's, on the upper end of affordable. And so I think if you have a total budget of $1,500, you have to kind of pick some cheaper watches to round that out. Yeah. What do we got in the chat? You guys thinking?
$1,250. Okay. Now it has to be between $500 and $1,500.
Yeah, so it's not going to be
Some
over
of you
$1,500 unless I'm cheating. I could just be cheating here.
Yeah.
Hey, I disappeared.
Yeah, we got to figure out how to fix that. But here, I'll bring you back.
I'm kidding. I don't care. No one wants to see my ugly face.
Yeah, keep it
all
up.
Right. 1,500, 1,300, 2,000. Isaiah, it's got to be under 1,500.
I'm going to pick like a consensus from the chat and lock them in. What's the
he
average
wasn't
you
here.
guys are guessing?
$1,399, $1,620. Low 900.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, Shane, go for it.
I'm going to say 1,010. Just goes.
Oh. Okay. All right. I went with 1,153 cents.
53 cents. Okay. And what are we going to lock the chat in? Are we going to give them a guess? You guys going to pick an average from them?
Let's see.
They're all over the place.
Yeah, they are kind of all over. Pick one in the middle.
That'd be like 1,100. Probably about the middle for what everybody's saying.
How about just in EDC, 1,300? Because I know it's over.
How about that?
All right, there you go.
1069. Okay, all right. Okay, no, I got this one priced out at 1,400.
Oh,
that's me.
Yeah, so higher. So I just barely split it under. Again, like you probably could get it for a little bit cheaper. I got the Orient Star. I priced that one at 500 because I picked it up for 350 here in Japan. I think the retail is closer to 700-800, but then I think you can get it some places 500 in the States and other places. So I kind of just rounded that one down to 500. Same thing with the Bulova. Like I priced that one at 400, but you can usually a lot of times find it for cheaper. But that's kind of between the retail and the the cheapest prices.
What's the Merkur running for these days?
Merkur is about 300. They have discounts that you can get.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 300 for that one.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, so I round out 1,400. So that goes to Alton. Alton got the point.
Yep.
I got the point.
All right. I don't know. A lot of those guys in the chat were guessing closer to that, but a lot of people went over 1,400 too. So.
Yeah, that's true. So, which of these 5, if you had to say you had a least favorite brand, which would it
brand be? Or watch?
Brand.
Least favorite brand.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's a tough one.
Doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means it's your least favorite.
I think this way. Least favorite brand. Yeah, I like all of them.
It's going to be tricky.
Yeah. Okay. I'll have to think that one through. Let's see what do we got on the chat. You guys are guessing Merkur, Casio. I see coming through. Well, yeah. I mean that's a hard one because I definitely like all of these brands. A lot of guys saying Merkur. Which that would make sense. They're definitely the least
popular.
Least popular. The lowest amount of heritage in history. They're a new brand, Chinese based. It's hard to compete against. Yeah, I guess these are technically the rest are all Japanese brands, right? Bulova is bought out by Citizen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys consider Bulova an American brand or a Japanese brand? I think their headquarters is still in New York, right?
I'd say Japanese, but American heritage, so to speak.
Kind of like,
which that's kind of like Hamilton, yeah. Oh, the Hamilton's Swiss, but
yeah. Hublot. I don't have a Hublot.
I'm gonna
you guys
say
ready for the answer?
I'm gonna say the chat has settled in on Merkur.
Yeah, it looks like I think it's definitely consensus. Okay. And yeah, if I had to pick a least favorite brand, it'd have to be Merkur. Because they are definitely a lot less established than the rest of them. Micro brand like that without a long history, there's always a little bit of a risk there. You don't know if the company's going to be in business 10 years from now. They don't have as much of a track record. The watches that I've gotten from them, I have enjoyed, but I probably wouldn't. Yeah, I would definitely say that out of those ones, that probably be my least favorite brand, but I really enjoy them too. So
Steve's coming out of the woodwork with Marathon.
What was your guess, Alton?
Merkur.
I said Casio just because I thought you were going to
I almost did. That would have been probably my second least favorite
G-Shock
brand
compared to other people that have like 50.
Right? Yeah. I'm not as much of a Casio fan as I think a lot of the affordable guys are. I respect them, but they don't
fall behind.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Alton and the audience are keeping up though. It's good. Last time we got destroyed by the audience, so at least one of us is hanging in there and putting up a fight.
So if you had to put one of these watches through like a torture test, which one would it be?
If I had to put one through a torture test, okay.
Like just to test its durability and like freeze it in ice, maybe even run it over in something.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I got a fair idea of which one I would put through a torture test. No, I think the chat's on to me too already. Yeah, maybe I'll throw a curveball. It's the Orient, guys. The Maestro. I think it can handle it.
I said Orient just because I wanted to see you smash it. I didn't think you would pick it.
No, I was joking. It's the G-Shock.
Oh,
definitely the G-Shock. Because I've done that. I actually put not this G-Shock, but I put my other G-Shock through a torture test. It survived pretty well. I probably wouldn't go as hard as I did. Like eventually on the other one, I let my 8-year-old throw a giant rock at it, and that broke it. He broke it. with the giant rock. But yeah, no, if I was gonna put something to the torture test, that's basically why I put the G-Shock in this collection, was in case I had anything like that it needed to go through. That would be the one to go through it.
Yeah. And for the record, that question was set up before we even knew it was in there.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so the question next is, and this is number 5, what watch are you wearing?
Oh, yeah. You guys haven't done your wrist checks either yet, right?
No, we'll do them all together.
Okay.
All right. What is? And it's one of these 5, right?
Yeah, I got one of those 5. I can show it. Oh, it's below the sleeve right now.
Oh, that's a hint, isn't it? It's not the Casio.
These are big sleeves, though. This is my other hand. Yeah, see, I can get anything on this.
Okay, what do we have?
Yeah, I usually have kind of a theme when I do these shows. Orient outdoor guys. Orient. Makes sense. A lot of guys. You guys really like that Orient Star. It's like your answer for everything. Just every question. Chat's like Orient Star. Which we figure. Okay. So we're gonna lock the chat in for Orient Star. Shane's got Orient Star.
Yeah, I got.
What do you got?
I got Bulova.
Okay. So all right, you guys are all striking out here today. I have the Mercure on.
Oh.
So yeah, anytime I'm doing one of this, give a hint, but anytime I do a live stream or a podcast or something with people in other countries or time zones, I'm always wearing a GMT. So I could have gone with the G-Shock. G-Shock's got a world time on there too. But yeah, I always wear a GMT to kind of make sure I'm not missing something and getting the time wrong. So I've got the Mercure on today with the GMT set to Eastern time, since we said it was going to be 8 Eastern time that we're starting.
That's smart. I should have thought of that.
No one picked up on it.
I am wearing my brand new, it's hard to see.
Oh, that's at the Baltic?
Baltic, yeah.
Nice.
Here. I pull this bad boy off. It is one pretty watch. Very nice looking watch.
Are the indices on that? Are those painted or are they applied?
They are painted, and the 3,
look.
6, and 9 are actually sandwiched. It's a sandwich style for those, which is a nice, really nice detail to have a sandwich style for just those 3 indices.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's painted.
So not the 12. The 12 isn't painted?
The 12 is also painted.
Oh,
yeah, it's not applied, but it's really thick. It's almost got a very vintage vibe to it, where it's almost just a little gloopy,
Yeah,
not that very clean. And I love it. I've had it for a few days now, and it is just beautiful, well-made Baltic watch.
Yeah, what was it when you were on the watch show with Chris? You guys were talking about you and Isaiah were on. You and Isaiah, you guys were doing the one about watches you
top
wanted to
10
buy.
watches we
two
want to
Baltics
own
on there. And then I look on your Instagram the next day, and you're like, "Oh, I got a Baltic."
Between setting up the whole thing and recording, I purchased this one.
You'd already purchased
yeah.
it.
So you know the list is
you had
authentic.
to wait to post on Instagram before you did to post the show before you post the watch.
Yeah, it was tough.
Yeah. How about you, Shane? What you got on? Oh, nice.
The new, it's not quite out yet. The new 43 millimeter.
That blue is great too. Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
The colors that they're doing on there.
Beautiful. I like that.
Yeah, I got the red one in here. Oh, sorry. Let's see that. Red's pretty cool.
We got Khaki Field down in the comments. Casio, Mini Turtle. Zin.
Oh yeah, what did the chat guess for? They all guess the Explorant, right? That was
the most part.
So strike out for everyone on that one. How are we doing? Is Alden still hanging in there?
What's the current score?
Yeah.
Oh, audience pulling ahead again. Yeah, it's tough to go against a whole group of you guys.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Might have to change that.
No, I'm up for the challenge. Maybe once we get all 3 of us and then a 4th guy, maybe the 3 of us together. Well, but then maybe one of us. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to pull up his collection, Shane, but we're going to evaluate this collection a little bit. We're going to dig deep and
you guys think?
Tell Dave where he's going wrong with this.
Yeah, help me out here.
What do you think, Shane?
let's see. Pretty good collection overall. I mean, I own the Explorient, so I really like that. The other Orient, I don't know. I've never really looked at the Maestros too much. I do like the Bambino because it's different, whereas the Maestro's just sort of normal kind of dress watch. Love the Bulova. I want to get one of those some point. And Merkur, that's an interesting. I'd actually like to see that one at some point, although it does look rather busy. And the Casio, maybe a little too yellow for me. But I mean, if you get lost in the woods, it's definitely nice to flag somebody down with.
Very good.
So
well,
what do you think?
Yeah, I love the Casio. I have one on its way here that's transparent. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, is that one of the newer ones?
Yeah, Casio just released a bunch of transparent versions, the Square and a couple others, and the Casio sold out immediately in the transparent version.
Do you still have your green Casio?
I do. I do.
You can have multiple. Now you're gonna have a Casio collection coming up then.
Yeah, I'm gonna have 2 Squares and 2 Casios.
Yeah.
So
Next
they
time
multiply like rabbits.
5 G-Shock collection.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that. The Orient, that one just does nothing for me. But that's not to say it's a bad watch. It's not to say
Talking
it's
the Maestro or the Orient Star?
Yeah. Sorry, the Maestro.
Yeah.
It just for some reason leaves me a bit cold. But I mean, it's hard to say that there's a better value out there than basically any Orient for that kind of watch. I did have a Bambino and sold it and enjoyed it for the time I had it. The Explorient is fantastic. Wouldn't change a thing. The Bulova, it's hard to find a chronograph that has these kinds of specs for that price.
Or Heritage.
Yeah, or the Heritage. So that's a great one. And the Mercure, Dave, when you check your PMs later on Instagram, I'm actually trying to get my hands on one of those. So
okay.
Yeah, that's my opinion on that. Is I would absolutely love to get one of those. So I think it's a great, affordable collection. I mean, just think about the breadth of watches we have here, the durability of a lot of these watches, the practicality, the variety, all for under $1,500. It's pretty great.
Yeah, I think for me, like the Orient is probably my least favorite. Like the Maestro in here, it was really, I need a dress watch. I have this much price. These are the options that I have. And yeah, I felt like this was kind of the dressiest dress watch that I have that would fit in that price range. Like the SNX 79 that Shane popped up. I was really thinking about that one. But that one has kind of more of a sporty vibe. And I have a lot of watches that kind of have that sports look in this collection. Anyways, I wanted something truly, obviously a dress watch. So that's why I went with that one. But, you know, if this were my collection, I would probably only wear it in those kind of more formal occasions when I needed a dress watch. I would probably wear the Explorient in most, you know, semi-formal occasions just because I like that one more.
Yep. Shane, is there a watch that you would swap out for any of these 5?
Well, I would say the Orient, except you do need a dress watch. So for me, I'd probably do the G-Shock and replace it with like a diver. Or as some other people were mentioning in the comments, I saw that, you know, you don't have anything with a bracelet either.
Yeah, I know that. That's a good pickup. I didn't think of that. But
and if you're going with portable, well, though, if you had like the Sumo or one of the Seikos, or you could even get, maybe one of the Seikos, you could even stretch it a little bit, throw on a strap code bracelet, and definitely fill it in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of went with the G-Shock as my diver. That's another thing. I was thinking I kind of want to get a diver in there, but I'm really not a huge dive watch fan. I like a lot of dive watches, but I'm okay having a collection without them. I could go without it, and then if I had the G-Shock, it's got 200 meters of water resistance. It would meet everything that I would use a diver for. I could use the G-Shock for instead. And so I would be, if I had a diver in the collection, it wouldn't necessarily just be for going in the water. I'd use it for casual wear, but for casual wear, I would probably choose to wear some of these other watches over a diver. So that's why I went with that. Yeah.
I know you're not a big dive watch fan, and I'm not really a huge diver guy either, although I have a couple. I would switch out that Orient Maestro for a Richard Legrand. dive watch
Yeah.
in black with the black bezel, because I think you could get away with that in a more formal setting with a little bit of a James Bond kind of thing going on.
Yeah, that's got a great size for that. And yeah, I think you could get away with the whole diver with a suit look with that one. Main problem there is that would definitely push me over the limit. I think I only have so I have to. I think it'd be close. So I have about $100 of play. I value
Like
the
$300,
Orient-Meister
aren't they? And
150.
they have sales all the time.
Yeah, so you could find it for 250, you could squeeze it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's our score, Shane? How are we doing?
Pull it back up. 4, 3,
Okay.
and 5. So I'm at last, but it's close. So
Okay.
Yeah, someone
we're at
there's
the last
mentioning a
phase.
Jazzmaster would be cool. Yeah, I would definitely take a Jazzmaster over the Orient, but again, price there. If you're trying to squeeze under that budget, can't really afford that one. Yeah, I guess you get a nice used Jazzmaster. Used would might work.
Jimmy says
yeah, I
the Mercure could be considered a diver, and
Right? Yeah, you give 200 meters of water resistance. It does have a screw down crown, 200 meters of water resistance, screw down crown. So yeah, you can totally use that as a diver. It's got a dive time bezel. Yeah.
very good.
The only thing it doesn't have is a loomed second hand. I think that's one of the only ISO specifications it doesn't meet. Like obviously hasn't been officially tested, but in their specifications for what defines a dive watch, I think it hits all the criteria except that.
Excellent. I think it's time to move into the third part of our game, and Shane's going to set up this next part. This is where Shane has an opportunity to pull ahead.
yeah. So we're on the last phase, which is kind of the conundrum or the trade phase. And that's where Walton and I have a watch already picked out that we're going to hypothetically propose to trade for all 5 of these. Now, you guys suggest some along in the audience, and Dave doesn't necessarily have to pick ours. He could pick one of yours. And whichever one he picks gets, what are we saying, 2 points or 3 points? What do you guys say?
How many points do you need, Shane?
I need 3. but if we do 2, it ties, and we got to figure out a tiebreaker.
That's
so
true, yeah.
I'm going to say 3 points.
Okay, let me make this the tiebreaker right now.
Yeah.
Just get it all
We're
over
still
with.
figuring some of this out.
Winner take all.
Yeah. So
Shane's the host. He makes the rules.
this time. It's all right. So we'll go start off with Alton and see what he suggests.
Yeah,
and you guys
really
in the
curious to see
audience
what you guys got.
suggest it up. Let me pull up Alton's picture.
Okay, Dave, so I will trade you, hypothetically,
Okay.
this German watch.
Ooh.
That's a very small picture, but I also
I
did
don't
it very last minute. It's a Zinn 104, and Zinn is a fantastic German brand. It comes in at about $1,500 US if you can get a little bit of a deal. They're going
Okay.
up in price readily. And I was just thinking, you wanted a watch collection for every situation.
Yep.
And this is the proportions are very good. It's
What's
subtle.
what's the size on it?
I don't remember offhand. Hold on one second.
I like that white dial with the black indices and black outline on the hands and markers. That's pretty slick.
It's clean.
Day-to-day
I think you can wear
complications,
it
cool.
in many situations. Yeah. So it is 41 millimeters. No, I don't
Okay,
want $20 off your website. 41 millimeters with 20 millimeter lugs. Of course, it has an automatic movement. It's 200 meters water resistant. Okay, so it's checking a lot
Pretty
of
nice.
boxes. And it doesn't say what the movement is here, but it'll have a nice movement for that.
I'll take your word for it.
One thing I forgot to say is that the upper limit for the watch that we can propose has to be the upper limit of the price category, which I think we are looking at the affordable category, so that's 500 to 1,500.
Yeah.
All right. So let me, not that one, bring up mine.
All right, let's see what we got. It's pretty tempting here so far.
All right. So what I propose is kind of similar to what Alton was saying, is that if you have a watch for every occasion, you kind of need to replace it with a watch that you can use in every situation, although in a little bit of a different category. In terms of, I went more for like a sports watch.
Oh,
And so I was thinking of the Longines Conquest. This is one that I've kind of had an interest in it as well, because it looks nice. It's kind of sitting right underneath that price category. It's 41 millimeters, looks good, but it's also, if I remember right, 300 meters of water resistance, only 12 millimeters thick. And I think it has like a 72-hour power reserve as well.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That's tough. Yeah. No, that because the Conquest is actually one I've kind of had my eye on for a while. Yeah, because of that very reason. Super versatile. You know, to me, this is like a kind of like a great budget alternative to the Rolex Explorer. But yeah, with 300 meters of water resistance, nice compact size. Cool that it comes on a bracelet too. They really take advantage of the water resistance. Yeah, those are both. Those are pretty. It's pretty tough to choose between those two. What do we got in the chat? Does anybody have any good ideas there?
Let's see.
Sin 556.
Youth Sin 3 U3D.
Trainmaster.
Oris GMT pre-owned.
Yeah, I don't. Pre-owned is breaking the rules.
If I could get a GMT would be definitely one of my favorite complications there.
It is, yeah.
Ball train. I'm thinking that might be over the 1500, but I don't remember.
Might hit up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, so like
or just watch.
Like my favorite complications. I always love to have a date. I love to have a GMT if I can. I love having some sort of a timing function. Good loom, water resistance. Those are kind of always the stuff I'm looking for. Yeah, with Shane and Alden's, like I feel like Alden's is a better daily watch, but I think Shane's could dress up nicer. So if I, for dressier occasions, that would be a better one to go with.
Fair world timer.
Yeah,
or far.
I'm not that familiar
world
with
time.
Yeah,
that was in the video I did with Isaiah. And that's one of his top 5 watches.
Yeah, Monta. They've got some cool stuff. I've always been curious about them.
Yeah,
they're
and that's right. The Longines. There's a few different sizes for the Conquest as well.
Yeah, a lot of options there,
as well as the Quartz VHP one, but that's different.
Yeah, which you just picked up, right? Does that have a world time function on it? The Quartz one?
It's got the GMT.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Not sure when I'm gonna get around to reviewing it. It's very interesting, but there's one huge weakness on that, and that's I think it's only like 30 meters of water resistance.
Oh,
really?
Which is stupid compared to the 300 meters on the automatic version.
Right? Yeah.
I
figured the water.
But part of that might because it has this like kind of a digital smart crown for how you kind of change things around.
Yeah.
It's a very cool watch, but yeah,
high tech.
Gotcha.
Pretty much.
Oris Big Crown Pointer date. That's a great one.
That's a great one.
Love that watch.
I really love that one too. That's a cool one. You can get that one for 1,500, right? Yeah,
I think so.
That would have been a tough one to pass up.
Yeah, I've been looking at the red one, or I think there's a cool green one too.
Yeah, a green one there. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think I'm ready to make my choice here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Zin. It's tough.
It's a great watch.
I think like with that, I think the Zin, because it has the timing function, and I don't have a lot of occasions where I really need to wear a dress watch. It's not something I wear too often, and I feel like 90% of the time I'd be fine, even with the Zin, even with it being more of a tool watch look than the Longines. And having that timing function would be helpful. Be able to use that, be able to time things, and it's a really cool look too. So that's tough, but yeah, I'd go with the Zin, I think, over that. And then maybe if I had a little bit of spare cash, I'd pick up like a cheap Timex or Casio dress watch or something if I really needed to
have some
to get something like that. But yeah, those are some good choices. Yeah, because Longines is definitely one. I'm still thinking about that because I think the Longines on Joma Shop, especially, you can get those down under $1,000. So that's actually getting closer to something I would actually consider buying.
Yeah.
The Zin, I think, is out of my price range. I probably would not be able to source one of those at a price I'd be willing to pay. So maybe that plays into it too. Is yeah, the Zin's a little bit more unattainable for me. So if you're waving that in front of my face, it'd be harder for me to pass that one up. Whereas
I
the
love
Conquest, I
Zin, but
might
they're
just
so hard to find
outbuy
local.
myself.
I have no idea where to buy one. You know?
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
All right.
So score.
Well, I got
is
3 on
Paul
that
wins,
Oh,
and I lose.
That means I get to pick the punishment, right?
Yeah, that's how we're doing this. We're still figuring out exactly how the points work. Usually the loser has to do something slightly embarrassing. And if you guys happen to win, which was the last episode, all the hosts have to do something embarrassing. And we might wind up doing what we're talking about as like a wheel of embarrassment to spin in future episodes. But for now, I guess you could pick it or, yeah.
Okay, well, now we're not closing out now, but when we do, I kind of like the idea that you had earlier in our private chat. I would love for you to close it out using using your best early morning radio DJ voice. Really, really peppy. Hopefully there's a fart machine effect in the background. I think with your staid personality, I would really enjoy seeing that.
All right. Before we do that, I'll share. That's the GMT version.
oh, cool.
Ah, very nice.
Which,
And
although
does
it's got kind of a weird textured dial, but then you got the GMT hand, and
What's the beat rate on the quartz movement?
it's still just a normal
1%.
1 second per, but it's the extremely high precision quartz, and they say it's 5 seconds a year.
Nice.
Is whatever it
Look at
loses.
that texture on that. That's a cool texture.
Yeah.
What's the does it hit all the markers exactly?
Close. You guys can't really escape that, even at higher price ranges.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Casio, right?
Um,
Casio or still
I've even had
the Grand Seikos
Casios that don't either. So I don't know. Either that or it's just really my bad luck.
Yeah.
The one interesting thing with that one is it's got this little optical sensor, and you can download an app to help set it, where it uses the flash to send Morse code to set it.
Wow.
It's a little weird, but
Okay,
yeah.
so it's not like a Bluetooth connection or something. It's a
No.
Oh,
Which in some ways would make sense. In other ways, they're trying to go for something more robust.
yeah.
Which still doesn't quite work because it doesn't work on my phone, but it does work on my iPad. So they didn't quite make it. That's an issue with that.
I like what W. Graham says, that Shane should have been a golf announcer, a golf commentator. Can you give us a little bit of golf commentator voice, Shane?
And here we are at the 5th hole, and he's lining up for the shot, and he misses. The golfer grabs it.
Sounds about right. Do you watch a lot of golf, Shane?
Not really. I mean, every once in a while. I actually started getting into golf a couple years ago. Frustratingly getting into golf. I suck. Mostly going to Top Golf. I don't know if they have those in Japan.
I don't think so.
But it's they're opening up all around the country. Although with COVID, it's kind of had an issue.
Okay.
But it's more like it's kind of like a driving range, where they combine it with like a high tech game. So it's like 3 floors of it, and there's holes that you actually have to hit the ball into, and you have a variety. You have all your different clubs into it, and you get so many points depending on which hole you hit into it.
Okay. Do you putt in it too? Or is it just
You can. Some of the holes are closer, and they have a variety of different games to it. And some of them even have entered like tracking, where it'll see the ball go up, and they've even started incorporating like virtual games into some of this. So the last time I went, they had like an Angry Birds version.
Oh no.
So that you're like, you kind of looking into real world. You're looking at the screen to try to figure out like, okay, if I want to hit that pig, I got to go for that hole.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
And they got good food and drinks, and it's a cool thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that over here. We got just regular driving ranges.
And it's helped improve my game a little bit, but I'm just really inconsistent when I play.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll go straight, and the other times it's just like nasty hook off. So, and
7:59 p.m.
Alexa decided to chime in at the time. I don't know why.
I was preaching the other day, and I was talking about Alexa, and then I said something, and a bunch of people in the live stream, their Alexas
Like,
started.
freaking out. Yeah.
And I was going to this morning say, Alexa, play Hot Blooded or something to see what would
You
happen.
want to be careful. Yeah, you know what's going to go on now. Shane's getting nervous over there. Don't do it, Alexa. I've got headphones on, so I can't hear you. Yeah.
All right. So what do you want me to close it out, and then we'll go into a Q&A,
Yeah, we can do a little Q&A.
or just go straight to the Q&A?
Do a little Q&A, and then you can close it out for
Let's
us.
save the radio voice for the end.
All right.
Are we going to record this and repost it on Instagram?
Use it as my story.
Yeah.
All right. So anyone have any questions for any of us? We'll do this for, 15 minutes or so. How long we've been going? Any questions on just, YouTube, life in general, what reviews we have coming up, that kind of stuff? Or how to get Amazon
Someone
to
was
stop listening to
asking
you.
about a strap they mentioned for the Bull of a Lunar Pilot. The Forstner JB Comfort Bracelet, NASA authorized. Roar of the Tiger was asking that a while back. And I have never heard of that, but it sounds really interesting because, that's one of the challenges for the Lunar Pilot for me. It is a very large watch. So finding a good, comfortable strap is
What's the lug width?
It's 20 millimeters.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see. Okay. Oh, wow. That looks cool. So they say that this is here. I'm going to put that up over on my screen. Looking that up. Is this, I wonder if this is the one he's talking about. I don't know if you can share mine. Yeah. So it looks like it's a metal mesh strap, and he says it's NASA certified, like you can use it. So there you go with the Omega. But that would be kind of cool. Well, look at that. Wow. It's got some serious flex to it. $125, a little pricey for a strap, but that'd be tempting. Yeah, someone saying I don't have a bracelet in my collection. So that might be okay. That's interesting. So it's straight lugs. Steel expandable mesh. One of the only bracelets sanctioned by NASA for use on manned space missions.
That's interesting.
Worn by astronauts throughout the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo programs, even made it to the surface of the moon. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay. So got some questions coming in. Let's see. Start off. What's your opinion on the Powermatic 80 movement? Anybody? I mean, I have one on my Hamilton. I like it. It's not quite the Powermatic, but it's basically the same thing with Hamilton.
Tissot's version of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all under ETA. But I mean, you do lose the high beat, but 80 hours power reserve is really nice. And I was always bringing my Khaki King with me as kind of like a travel watch, along with a few other watches, because 80 hours, even if you're swapping watches every couple of days, you don't really need to worry about it running out. It's just kind of running in the background. And mine was pretty accurate.
I have a bunch of Hamiltons it's basically the same movement, and I love it. It runs 5 seconds a day fast, all three that I own for some reason. And you put it down on Friday, pick it up on Monday, it's still going.
Yeah, it's, you just got the trade-off between either the smooth beat rate or the long power reserve. So that's the choice you're making with it.
And I can't tell the difference. I mean, I can if I put them side by side and study them, but that's it.
Yeah, but I think it's really cool that they kind of are giving you that as an option because, it's a pretty affordable movement and pretty attainable for even affordable collections. But the 80 hours is really cool. I think a lot of it depends on how many watches you have. If you have a lot of watches that you go through, even 80 hours is probably not going to be long enough unless that's like your one that's heavily in your rotation. And in that case, a lot of times I kind of like the smoother beat rate. I like the look of it. But
the winding on it
part of
too.
A smaller collection.
Shane, you find the winding is just smooth as butter on those. For mine. It doesn't have that gritty.
Oh, let's see, and share that real quick. One other question was, the Alpinist with the beads of rice, the bracelet. It's from Uncle Seiko. Really great bracelet. Really recommend it. Only downside to it is that it's folded end links, not solid, but so far I haven't seen anything else that has a solid end lengths for it.
Yeah, I'm kind of coming around to hollow end links now. Like just the flexibility that they have. So like I have a similar. I have the Beads of Rice bracelet from Uncle Seiko, but mine was for the Seiko Samurai, and I was able to bend the end links on that to get it to fit my Hamilton Jazzmaster GMT. It's not a perfect fit, but I still think it looks better than straight end links. So yeah, I think that's kind of a cool thing about the hollow end links is it gives you a little bit more flexibility. Is you can kind of get them to fit with a couple of different watches sometimes because you can bend them or press them closer together.
That's true. So next question, what's your favorite field watch?
That's a tough one.
Right now, mine's that Explorient. Orient bills that as a field watch. I know a lot of people have a hard time with that because of the dial layout, but right now that's my favorite.
I think I'd probably say the same. I haven't found. I actually did that 3-way Explorient, Khaki King, and Alpinist. And I think I went. If I remember right, they were all pretty close in how I ranked them. But I think the Explorient kind of came out on top, and I think I'd probably say it just kind of edges it out a little bit.
In my collection, it's the Hamilton Khaki Day Date. If you're going outside my collection, there's a lot of great watches I would love to have.
Yeah, I really like that Hamilton Day Date that you got. That's one of my favorite looking Hamilton field watches.
Very, very symmetrical, even though there's a lot going on. It's very balanced.
Yeah, really cool kind of vintage look to it.
Rolex Explorer is for me the ultimate field watch. I would love one of those. I will never own one, but I'd love to have one.
Yeah. Well, it kind of ties into the next question.
Yeah.
If you had the money, would you buy a Rolex of your choice, or would you spend the money on a bunch of affordable watches?
Ooh.
Tricky question. For me, I would say, depending on where you are in terms of collecting, because sometimes I see affordable watches as a way of learning what you like. Like some video I made, I do remember the comment, say the first watch you ever buy, you buy a Submariner because everybody tells you it's the best watch in the world. But do you really know why it's the best watch in the world? Do you really know why it's the best watch in the world if somebody asks you, unless you actually have some experience? And going through affordable watches, you can, try different styles, different colors, and you find things you like. Like for me, I never thought I'd like red dialed watches, and now I have a couple of them. And even the way with some homage watches, some people don't like them because they're, pale comparisons. But I had that Pierre Paulin Panda, and a little while after having that, I actually bought one of my first, higher end watches that I still haven't really shown off or reviewed yet, and that's kind of the Hamilton Intramatic version. Because I had it, that one that was like it, and I liked it enough that I said, hey, I want to get a real one, just as a way of knowing ahead of time that I'm going to like it. But what about you guys?
For me, if I get to keep the watches I already own, then I would absolutely go in for the Rolex. It depends on the Rolex. For me, it would be the Explorer. But if I had no watches at all, I do like variety. So I think I'd rather have 3 or 4 nice mid-range watches instead of one Rolex.
Yeah, so if it's my money, if I had to spend my money, if I had the money to buy a Rolex, I probably wouldn't. If you were going to give me one, sure, I'd take the Rolex. But if I had to spend my that's I don't know, I'm maybe an odd spot in the watch collecting thing, but I can't. I would have just a really hard time justifying spending that much money on something like a watch. There's just more important things in life to spend money on. So I think I would feel guilty if I spent my money on a Rolex, and then I would probably be afraid to wear it and be afraid of what people would think if they saw me wearing it. So yeah, I would definitely go with the more affordable watches. If you were going to give me one, I would take it. Yeah, I'd take the Rolex. I'd love it. It would be great. But yeah, I think I have this weird thing where I would have just a hard time spending the money on it.
Alton said. And for me, I just saw that what Alton said, but also for me, the thing is, I've actually looked at Rolexes a few times. I can't really justify buying one right now, but especially during the global state that we're in, other priorities are there. but I don't really like some of the styles, to be honest with you. There are very few Rolexes I actually like. I mean, I don't like Mercedes hands, so that pretty much rolls out the Mariner.
Yeah, I'm hard to do that too.
You know, most of them. I don't know. There's just only one that I really, really do kind of like is maybe the Milgauss.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good one. What Rolex would you guys get? You could have any Rolex. You know, Rolex came to you and said, "Hey, we want you guys to review a watch. We'll send you any one you want for free." What are you guys going with?
I'd say the Milgauss. But...
Milgauss, okay.
Explorer.
Yeah, I'd have a hard time between either the Sky Dweller or the Explorer 2. Get a GMT in there. I'd probably go with the Sky Dweller just because it's kind of quirky and expensive and cool. Yeah, but I think the Explorer 2 Polar Dial is one of my favorite ones out there.
Let's see, any other questions we got? Decisions, not a question.
Yeah, Date Justice, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Nice, classic. Yeah, pretty much do anything.
You know, I get that comment because I saved up. I sold a bunch of watches and I had a bunch of money, and I was like, great, I'm so excited. I'm going to buy a new watch with this money. And my wife can't bug me about it because I sold other watches to fund it. But then I got really stressed out for about 3 days. I did nothing but research watches. Like, which one am I going to buy? And I even made a whole video about it. And I ended up buying this one. But, you know, there actually comes a bit of tension when you're trying to decide how you want to spend and allocate your money.
Yeah, that can be a lot of money.
Yeah, in some ways, that's why I look at more when I kind of really jump into that sphere. Probably more Omega is going to be what I'm looking at, because half or less than half, depending. And some of the watches I really do like. I like the Railmaster. Seamasters are great. Speedmaster. I mean, everybody wants a Speedmaster for the most part.
Yeah, I really like the Aquaterra a lot too. That's great. Yeah, like they have some GMT ones I think are pretty cool.
All right. Actually, let me ask you guys a question, since nobody else has one quite yet. What do you guys think of this strap? It's probably one of the more unusual ones I've ever picked up.
Ooh.
It's funky.
It's one of the Barton, what is it? Barton, I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Looks like a kind
Gaucho,
of
Barton
American
Gaucho
pattern or something. Gaucho, okay, yeah.
You need just the right watch for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's one reason I
kind of work there. Yeah, I think
because it was like I couldn't hard to imagine like what would this go with. So I had to get one just to like try it out on a variety of watches. But it was like it's really interesting.
But that kind of works, you know. I could see that. Yeah, actually, because like the handset really matches the geometry of the pattern on the strap too. That kind of square blocked hands with the squares there and the colors tie in.
You on another watch.
Yeah, I don't know what I would put it on. I tend to be a little bit more conservative with my strap choices, but that kind of looks cool.
Be nice in something with a gilt chapter ring, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Bring out that color.
Let me bring up this one. Didn't transfer over like I wanted it to.
Maybe for like a field watch, that might look good. Okay, that's kind of cool. That might be a little too much for me.
Mandala.
Yeah, the mandala's already got a lot going on.
Does it work with the geometric pattern in it? And that is a gilded dial.
Yeah, kind of works too.
But it's interesting. But that's why I picked up a couple interesting Barton ones.
Yeah. What you got? Yeah, because that definitely has kind of your Old West Texas vibe to it. Maybe put it on a Jack Mason. Anyone else made in Texas?
There, I was thinking more New Mexico-ish, but
yeah.
Which I don't know if there are any New Mexico brands. But here's a question.
Which has the most impact, a watch advert or a YouTube watch review? I only see advertisements for fashion watches that I'm not going to buy or luxury watches that I can't afford. Those are the only advertisements I see. So for me, YouTube channel is where to go. Like that's the only place I can go to get good information on affordable watches.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're the same thing.
Yeah.
But we're not
Yeah, I
talking
think
about
I've been way more tempted watching Jody over at Just One More Watch and the stuff that he brings out than any advertisement that I've seen.
Yeah. And plus, you get more information for a review. You know more about it. Well, that's the thing with reviews too on YouTube. But it's why I started making reviews too. Is I realize that not everybody watches every single second of my videos. They all skip through them. That's just reality.
We know what you guys are doing out there.
Yeah, which is why I put
I do, Shane. I watch every second, man. Don't you worry.
You can watch as much as you want, and you can see as much as you want, and you get the information as much as you want, and kind of make your own decisions on things. And that's why my philosophy of reviewing, some you could say, is show it as well as tell it, so that you can kind of make your own decisions on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. So any other questions, or should we start wrapping this up? Oh wait, hold on.
A couple more are popping up now. Sub 300 chrono that's not a Seagull must be non-quartz. Okay, well, so you're stuck with not a Seagull. So you got to have the Seagull movement though, right? If you're going with a non-quartz sub 300 chronograph, it's got to have the ST19.
That's about all the option you have.
Really your only option there. Yeah, I think on Joma Shop once or twice, I've seen some Tissot's that have an ETA chronograph movement down for close to that, and it was on like some back models that didn't sell well.
Yeah, there's one particular Tissot that every time I talk about bring up a Seagull, somebody mentions it as like an affordable one, but I think it might be discontinued now or kind of close to it.
Yeah, I think the ones I was looking at were discontinued.
But I think that might be around 300, maybe a little bit more. I can't remember what that one is though.
Yeah, but realistically, for under $300 a chronograph, your only real options are going with a quartz or with the ST19, or the only, at least that I know of. Yeah, realistically, you kind of got to pick between that. And there's some cool quartz chronographs movements out there. I mean, Boliva's like on the Lunar Pilot has that high frequency quartz that's super accurate. Really cool movement in there, and I feel like that kind of gives you some added value. You can get that for right around 300, and that it's not just a standard off the shelf quartz movement. It's something that's unique to Boliva. I guess you can consider it an in-house movement of sorts. It's ultra accurate. Looks cool when it's going around to get a nice smooth sweep on the chronograph second hand, and even the running second hands, it beats at 2 ticks per second instead of 1, so it's slightly smoother, which is kind of cool. The Seiko Mecha quartz movement is kind of a good hybrid there. Looks pretty cool. And
one advantage I would say that I've realized with quartz chronographs versus even Mecha quartz chronographs is that if the chronograph hand gets misaligned somehow on a Mecha quartz, no way to adjust it other than actually taking it out and physically resetting it. Versus almost every single quartz chrono, you can not manually, but there's a setting to move it slightly to realign it. Yeah, and even with the ST19, like I've been hearing more and more that there's a lot of variation from Seagull in the quality of the movement that you get. So like I got two Seagull ST19 powered watches, and one of them, I got off of AliExpress, is the Seagull 1963 kind of homage. It was, made by not Seagull, but different brand that was doing a copy of it. And the movement on that one doesn't work that great. It kind of has some trouble resetting sometimes. Sometimes it stops. And the other one that I got was a Mercur one. That one works fine. So I've heard that with the ST19, a lot of it depends on the brand and how much quality control they're doing before sending it out, and whether they have a good relationship with Seagull and they can get the higher quality ones versus the cheaper ones. So I know a lot of high-end micro brands now are using the ST19. I think Baltic was doing it on their chronograph. Laurier, I think, was. I think I remember reading somebody saying that with them, they're spending time looking over like the individual movements before they put them in their watches.
Right. So there's an extra step there. So I think you got to be careful of that, because I think people are, a lot of times they're assuming, oh, the ST19 is a great movement. Everybody's seeing it now, so I can go on AliExpress and buy one for $200. But that might be a little bit risky Especially because I think, if you're going with a bigger brand that's doing it, they're going to honor the warranty. So, even if it is going to be one that's not up to par with the quality control, you can get it fixed by the brand and have them deal with it. And they kind of have to work that into the cost. So you're paying more, from a more established brand that's going to back it up, but it's more cost to them as well, because they're going to have more warranty claims on that movement where they're going to have to honor it. So that might be I think you are kind of really rolling the dice on a lot of the AliExpress ones.
So this should be an easy one to answer. Only place I know of where to get an Aragon is actually Aragon.
Yeah, there was
Unless
one
they're
other,
and they come back frequently. Like I think they sold out of all the 42 millimeter ones, and then like a week after I did the review, or 2 weeks after I did the review, somebody emailed me and like, "Hey, they're back." So they're always coming back.
Yeah, just keep checking their site. I'm signed up for their mailing list because they run so many sales. So it's kind of always fun to see what they got up for sale, and that's how I get alerted to when they get new stuff. There was one other brand one other online store that used to carry a lot of Aragon, and I bought one from them once, but I can't remember the name of it.
So, do you think the news of Citizen releasing a line of watches with their new movement will elevate the brand to compete with Seiko? I think this is the news with the new automatic that's kind of like something to do with some
Yeah,
Swiss.
I've seen a lot of buzz by that, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
I saw Chris was just covering it over on his channel. I haven't watched his video.
Yeah, I think it depends, because I think I was curious enough to see what the watch is going for, and I think it was like $6,000 or something.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a Grand Seiko competitor, right?
Yeah, so it could be, and along the same lines, I think is their their high accurate quartz one. I can't remember, like the O2 Movement O200 or something like that. I think that's like $6,000 too. So they're kind of they do have some high end watches. So yeah, it's good if they just need more of a lineup. But at the same time, Citizen also owns other brands that are doing some higher end watches that just aren't under the Citizen name.
Yeah, for
So they may not be-
$6,000, I don't think this is going to compete with Seiko at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, be an interesting first offer. I'll see if they follow it up and stick with it. But
Like, if you've got $6,000, are you spending that on a Citizen?
yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
Dave,
you-
I know
you
you're not
probably-
spending it at all, but
yeah, I'm not spending it all.
It depends. Well, I mean, that's also the argument with some car manufacturers in the past. Like Hyundai has their Genesis lineup. It's like, do you really want to spend that much on a Genesis or a Hyundai? Volkswagen did that for a while with I think it's like the Phaeton, and that was supposedly a fabulous like $100,000 car. But people were like, "Why am I going to spend $100,000?"
It says Volvo on it. Or Vito, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, anything else? Otherwise, I guess probably just wrap this up. Hey.
hey!
Oh, hey. Oh, Tuss watches.
Yeah, hey, we really appreciate everybody who's tuned in. It's been great to have you along with us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and- good.
fun being in the guest seat. A little bit less pressure for me.
So who are we having
You guys-
on
you guys did all the work.
in our
Yeah,
next
we need to
episode,
figure out
guys?
some- yeah, any you guys in the chat? Who would you like to see on the
Who should we
on the
put
show?
on?
Yeah, give us some suggestions here.
As well as, make sure to follow and subscribe, hit the bell icon, all that kind of stuff for each of us.
Yeah.
Make sure you do it
Oh,
now.
yeah.
If you are a big name YouTuber and you're interested in being on the show, send us your headshot and bio. We'll consider it.
Yeah.
We're very particular about who we let on this thing.
And everybody go and follow my channel because I need to hit 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, let's get Alton up to
before-
1,000 subscribers, guys.
I
Come
have
on.
this Casio video with 22,000 views and a lot of hours in it, and I'm worried about after that rolls over for the 12 month because I've got my 40 hours or whatever it is. So I need to get to
Gotta get
1,000 before that
Yeah.
video disappears from my stats.
Yeah. So right now, everybody head over. We got 47 people watching. How many people in the chat are subscribed to Alton's video? Anybody? Pressure's on, guys.
A lot of crickets. A lot of crickets.
Everybody. Oh wait, everybody's leaving. Where's everybody going?
Oh man.
No, I love Alton's channel. I watch all his videos.
Thanks, buddy. I have fun.
Good.
Hey,
Good,
thanks,
All
Mario.
right, yeah.
You're the best.
There we go.
Mario's the man.
Yeah.
Thanks, James. Pete's sub to all
I'm
three.
gonna hold
Good
you
for
to it,
buddy.
James. Oh, Roar of the
Hey.
Tigers. Okay.
Busted.
Thank you, Island Terror. There we go. Yeah, you could get some subs from this one.
Nice, guys. Thank
There we
you.
go.
Yeah. Alton, shut up, Isaiah.
getting disowned here.
I do a little show with
here.
Isaiah every once in a while. Yeah.
I'm just throwing you under the bus here.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Scott. Nobody has seen me. It's all good. You're not missing out.
All right. So I guess I should close it out with the.
Yeah, let's
Yes!
let's do
All
the
right.
best radio.
Yeah, I'm looking
Get
forward
this
to
out of
this.
here, and we'll see who we can.
Get the mic a little bit closer.
Oh wait! I had a punishment in case you guys chose that instead of that. Does anybody
No,
want to
it's
at least
gonna be-
see my punishment here?
Yeah.
This is what I was going to have you guys post on Instagram. Let's see if I can bring it up. There we go. Here's my Instagram punishment for the loser. So Shane's getting it off easy with the radio voice. Instead of
Oh,
having
that's
to
a
post
good
this.
one.
Yeah.
That's a very good one.
Save that for next time.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear what you got, Shane.
Okay, I'm winging this. Thank you for listening to Relative Time Radio. As we come to a close for the day, I'd like to say and thank every single one of you. Thank you for listening, and we love you all. Good night, God bless, and something or else. Bye-bye.
All right, that's way better than I could have done. So yeah.
I'll do the golf one next time.
It's like everybody always says you have a great radio voice. So
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Either that or I'll do Twilight Zone as a punishment, or actually, I probably shouldn't give you guys ideas. Do like William Shatner doing Rocket Man or something like that.
So I gotta start writing these down.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and
Yeah,
make sure
thank you.
Thank
subscribe.
you guys for watching. And
Leave
stay
comments
tuned
down
for
below.
episode 4. We'll see who we got coming on next time. Try and get a good guest. And
We'll try to get more advance notice out next time. Thank you guys for sticking with us.
Right on.